Welcome to Cocktail History with the Freeborn County Historical Museum, Library, and Village. I'm Stephanie Kibler, Executive Director here at the museum, with Risha Lilienthal, Curator of Collections and Exhibits. New title, folks.
Woo!
So, the first cocktail
Ever.
That's what the claim to fame is. Well, it's not the only one, but the Sazerac out of New Orleans. The Sazerac Coffee House was possibly the city's best known drinking establishment in the late 19th century. Arguably the social center of drink, business, and merriment.
And was this one also in that like square?
I believe so, or right within walking distance of that. I don't know if it's in the square. I didn't go that far. But according to author and attorney Philip Green and a few others, the Sazerac first appeared in 1853. So I think this is other than, what was the one we did with the milk punch?
Milk punch, yep.
Other than milk punch, I think that's the farthest back we've gone for cocktail history. Yeah. Near the Hotel Monteleone, which I think we've talked about before. I can't think of what cocktail though. I'm reading as I go because I'm unprepared today. The New Orleans consider themselves too refined for the typical saloon.
Oh.
So that's where the coffee house comes into play. They weren't really coffee houses.
They were just fancier bars.
Yes, with the word coffee in the title. Yeah. There were more than 200 listed in the city directory in 1859 of New Orleans.
Coffee houses?
Coffee houses, aka bars.
Wow. Did they also serve coffee?
Well, I'm gonna guess they had a pot somewhere. I don't know.
So.
Most bars serve coffee, don't they? I do recall being in a local establishment that somebody asked for a cup of coffee, and the bartender said, really?
Right? That's what I'm thinking. Why?
Might be somebody I know that did that, actually. that said really, not that asked for coffee. I don't know anybody that go into a bar and ask for coffee.
Exactly.
So I'm gonna butcher this. They believe that this cocktail was actually created in a pharmacy years before 1853 by Antoine Amédée Peychaud.
That sounds legit.
And so the bitters that we were supposed to use for this are Peychaud's bitters. Could not find. So I have Fee Brothers bitters. And it's aromatic bitters, so it should be comparable. But Peychaud's bitters, agreeable taste, quotes, is not the least of its recommendations. It also made good restorative tonic for cases of general debility. Is that hangovers?
What does that mean?
I don't know. I just assumed,
like a hair of the dog?
I just assumed New Orleans and a hangover. I don't know. I don't know. So this crowded city with all these 200 coffee houses, the Sazerac Coffee House was the one that stood out. Sure. And a little side note on that is there is a new addition to New Orleans in the fall of 2019, state-of-the-art attraction dedicated to the famous Sazerac. On the corner of Canal and Magazine, the historic building houses a sensory experience that will take you through the history of cocktail culture of New Orleans. It's called the Sazerac House.
Well, that's neat.
So that'd be a fun little...
a lot of cocktail history.
Oh my gosh, yes, in New Orleans?
Oh yeah.
Boy, that'd be a city, you could have a fun city tour.
They have a lot of city tours.
That would be
down
fun
there
to do
too.
for Fat Tuesday down Broadway. The Fat Tuesday New Orleans style cocktail tour.
That would be really fun.
Holly Karstens. Get on that. So, I thought this was cute. The New York Times reported shortly after its demise, one might see at any time a judge, the mayor of the city, perchance the governor himself, and certainly a score of lesser dignitaries.
Oh my.
Eavesdroppers would be rewarded with a panoply of topics.
Panoply?
What's
a panoply?
Panoply of topics from
Like a plethora?
Wow.
Sorry, I'll let you
I
talk.
have a full sentence to come out here from horse races. So I don't know. I should have looked this up because this is a funny little word for me. And maybe our audience knows the answer to this. Horse races to the peccadillos. Peccadillos. Peccadilloes. Peck, not pick. Pick is P-I.
I just hear picadillo. Is that something?
That's a.
Oh, no, that's a piccolo.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, of politicians to the prices of cotton and sugar futures, which were traded along the bar. One went to the bar for arbitration and planning, the Times reporter wrote. Foot on rail, one discussed weighty matters while waiting for the cocktail to appear. So it was, the spot for business, for beverage, big decisions made. Anyway, we should make one of these.
Yes. Let's go.
Oh, that's not the Sazerac recipe.
Hey.
So, we're going to do these individually because there's a little stirring involved.
Ah.
So you have to rinse each rock glass with absinthe. So you rinse with just a splash, and then you discard. Oh, I'm
You better do a
splashing.
splash, otherwise my splash will be a jug.
Woo! And so, as we've talked before, absinthe is known as the Green Fairy.
Yes.
Or Black Death because of the licorice flavoring.
Oh.
I knew you'd like that one.
Oh, I do like that. I'm going to talk more about absinthe later. But Green Fairy.
Green Fairy or Black Death?
Green Fairy.
I know, you've got your Green Fairy eyes going. If you can't see, she's got green and glitter.
Uh-huh.
I think you rinse that. So here,
It's
let's.
just kind of a fun wrist movement.
So we're gonna just do this,
Oh, goodbye, absinthe.
and then you're gonna add. You're gonna throw in a sugar cube.
Ooh, that made a ding.
You're gonna throw in. Oh, the Peychauds and Angostura bitters.
You
So
want me to do your cube too?
3 dashes of this, 2 dashes of this.
Dashing through the snow. 1, 2, 3.
And I'm gonna add to it a half a teaspoon of water.
I knew there was water in it.
And I'm gonna say this again, you know what you knew there was water in it. That's
Okay,
good.
mine didn't come out.
Yes, it did. Oh, you're gonna be overbittered. She's gonna be bitter.
I need to turn bitter.
And so we're supposed to muddle that, you know, so we've been using our little, oh, that
That worked.
I gotta buy a nice muddler. Yours were better than mine.
That's because it was bitter.
I'm gonna rinse that because we don't want to use that spoon. Because it was bitter. 1.25 ounce of the rye whiskey, which we might be a little sly on that one because we've
How much?
used that 1.25. There's probably only about 2 shots in there. Do 1 in each for now. We might be cutting this back a little bit.
That's okay. There's a little there.
Better do half in each. That's all right. We've got cognac, which we can also just do a cognac one. She can't just do half every time, guys.
I have 3 older brothers. Okay.
That's gonna be a really small drink. 1.25 ounces of that. Wow. So that rye whiskey going in there brought out the absinthe. Did you smell that?
Mm-hmm.
You don't smell any rye. It's all absinthe.
Oh, that black licorice.
Ooh.
Okay. 1 and then a quarter.
Yeah.
So half of this.
Yeah.
Don't want to spill. Okay.
And then we're going to put some ice in the strainer. Or in the, yeah. Okay, that's good. We're gonna do this. I know, I did it backwards. That's all right, then the absinthe stays in our, and you just wanna stir that a little, just to chill it. Not enough, you don't wanna shake.
Stir, not shake.
Right, and it does make a difference. When I was at Burrow, I had asked the guys about it, and we had a long conversation on stirred, not shaken. And then just strain it into back into the glasses. And then we'll stir one more time because we do a little sugar laying in there. And this is a strong drink, so you don't want a big drink. It's not one that's this would be what you call a sipper. Break your glass there. Let me hand you that. We're gonna do this. Ouch. And then just give that a little twist. Ooh, and drop it in there. That's a Sazerac. And that's about, so I've had this up at Snack Shack. They do a nice, and actually I've heard Thirsty Fox does a nice Sazerac.
Okay.
I've not had one there, but it is not a, that's about the size of the one from
It
Snack
smells
Shack.
good.
It does smell good.
It smells really nice.
Okay, oh, cheers, sorry.
You forget me.
Forgot to cheers. That's about what it tastes like at the, it's a strong one.
It's got bite.
I do like it. It is a lovely
I like the
cocktail.
citrus. Like a little touch of citrus in it.
So, so what do you got that tells me that this can tie into Freeborn County?
Okay, so I'm
Because I didn't think you were going to be able to do it, just so you know.
I'm doing it. It's a little roundabout, but absinthe. I love absinthe because it's the Green Fairy, and I love Moulin Rouge. And Black Death, yes. But that color was a pigment that became very, very popular in the Impressionist and Post-Impressionist movement. And Vincent van Gogh and Degas both referenced absinthe specifically in a painting. Like there's a Van Gogh of some guy like this with the absinthe right there next to him.
So, I'm sorry. You just totally distracted here. Because I'm looking at this Herfindahl over here.
Yeah.
Of the little boy with the dove, and it's all green absinthe-y. So I'm wondering if Lloyd had a little absinthe.
A little absinthe in there, imbibed a little bit.
That would explain the painting with the crow and the dove and the.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I mean, we're looking over that way. It's in the gallery.
Stop
up here.
in. We'll show it to you.
Yeah. And so that became a popular pigment too. To have like green was a hard pigment to get that wasn't toxic.
Oh, interesting.
And so Paris green was a color that came about. I can get into specifics of like chemical stuff with that if you want me to, but it was what is allegedly what drove Van Gogh mad, is what people say, that using that pigment,
paint?
that pigment in the paint, because he had to mix his own paint.
Sure.
But it was an inorganic compound. It's also known as Schweinfurt green, an emerald green or Vienna green, highly toxic emerald green crystalline powder, and has then became used in rodenticide and insecticide.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. And it, in 1867, farmers in Illinois and Indiana were the ones that found out that Paris green was effective against the Colorado potato beetle. which is an aggressive agricultural pest. And so despite the concerns about safety, it was very widely used.
Even though they knew it was
Yes, even, they knew
driving
it was
people
toxic
mad.
and, and not good for you. Yeah, they were still using it. And
like some of the things we do today.
I mean, that's true. Yeah, very true. But in our 1882 book on Freeborn County, there is a reference to Paris green.
Really?
Yeah.
Good job.
Thank you.
I'm impressed.
The insect pests were not strongly in evidence in early days in Freeborn County. The most serious of these pests, the Colorado beetle, better known as the potato bug too, but
We don't like those.
were put in appearance in 1865 and flourished until 1870 when the Paris green method of killing them was introduced, since which date they have been fought successfully.
So the Paris green method,
So
was it just sprinkling onto the soil? Or the plants?
They had like these like big circular kind of tins, kind of like that had it in there, and it had like toxic all over it, and so they would
just spread it around. And interesting. Paris green.
Yeah. Did you know that also after that? Did you know that in 1866, rats made their first appearance in the county?
I did know that.
Did you know that? I thought that was really interesting.
Oh, doggone it. Who's the guy that does the little highlights and shadows?
Oh, Irv Sorensen.
Irv Sorensen has a fun little clip on the rats.
I feel like you actually probably have told me that.
Podcast.
Yeah. It's just, it re-clicked there.
But I can't think of what our topic was for podcast because they're so all over the place.
Yeah. Absinthe also was a big drink connected with Bohemian culture. And so I was also thinking about, the Bohemian dance hall.
Yeah. Whose curtain we will be bringing into the museum this spring. We've got the stage curtain, advertising panels from the Bohemian Dance Hall.
Yeah.
We did our first Uncorking History on the Bohemian Dance Hall. Yeah.
And the other thing I had isn't connected to absinthe at all. It was just a man who moved from New Orleans to Oakland Township. But that could be for another day.
Who was he?
His name was William Pilgrim. Yeah.
And
he was a retired farmer who was residing in Oakland Township.
So he retired in New Orleans?
No, he retired here. In Oakland, yep, in 1830. Well, no, he was born in 1833 in England. Came over to the United States, first to Canada and then the United States. Lived in Wisconsin, was stationed in New Orleans during the Spanish-American War.
Oh.
And then moved back to Wisconsin, got married, and moved to Oakland Township.
I was Oakland, Minnesota, this little township, and New Orleans when it was booming and bustling, and what a
jump. Yeah. Although the rich farmland again.
True.
Here, yeah.
True.
Yeah. And his son-in-law was from Moscow.
Moscow Township?
Yep. Freeborn County, Moscow.
Because there is a Moscow in Russia. Right? Comedy and a cocktail.